Welcome to Joy in Our Town. I'm your host, Vanessa Rose, and so happy that you decided to tune in and join us for another great edition today. We are so happy to be joined today by Brian Steele. He is the director of the Phoenix Dream Center. I'm sure you've heard of this wonderful organization, and if you haven't, you are about to learn some great things that are happening right here in our valley. They are part of a family of 267 Dream Centers worldwide that was began by one of our own local pastors, Pastor Tommy Barnett, in 1994 in Los Angeles, California. Please stay tuned and enjoy this short video.
When I first walked in the door of the Dream Center, I almost burst into tears. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It's a very special environment, and you can't help but feel the total love and warmth. Pastor Steele is the example of what a good human being really is. I nominated Pastor Steele because I truly felt he deserved this. Through the Dream Center, he loves them, he truly cares. And that's the difference. It's not a job to him. This is his life.
It really is amazing to see lives transformed, to see lives rebuilt here at the Dream Center. We wanted a place that assessed every single life coming in and set those lives on a trajectory, on a path to success. Anywhere we can go where the homeless are, where the at-risk youth are, we're in those areas. We found just a driving force within people to overcome addictions, to get clean, to stay sober, to go back and restore life with the family, that by finding that dream that is in that person and growing that dream, we found a power in people to grow their life that was immeasurable, that we couldn't find in any other kind of a program.
Pastor Steele, I hope you know you are one of my heroes. I want to congratulate you on this award tonight. It is well deserved, and most importantly, we want you to know from the community how much we care about you.
What a great video that we were just able to watch. That was Cindy McCain, the wife of Senator John McCain here in Arizona, that awarded our guest, Pastor Brian Steele, with the Leadership Award here in Arizona. Welcome, Pastor Brian.
It's great to be here. It really is.
It's wonderful to have you here. You truly are doing incredible things here in Valley, which is one of the reasons that you were the recipient of this award.
Well, thank you. Yeah, so it's amazing to get to serve our community. We serve the least, the last, and the lost. But a few years ago, our service to the community took a whole new turn of events when we began to serve at the government level, just to give input to how the laws could change to help foster care youth, give input on how things could change to help the young women of our community who are caught up in this terrible thing called human trafficking. And so our first task force was several years ago, and it had to do with foster care. It was with then Governor Jan Brewer, and they wanted our input. How can we better partner with the state? How can faith-based be better equipped to help the foster care sort of epidemic we have going on in our state? And then just a couple, 3 years ago, started to work with Miss McCain, and she's just been amazing to work with. She's an amazing advocate for the young women of our community, especially the ones who are caught up in this thing we don't like to talk about, human trafficking and sex trafficking. And she's just been a true hero of mine, and so it was kind of ironic for me to get the award from her, but she's been a hero to so many of the young women who've come through our program, to myself, and to be able to work with her to literally examine the laws of our land and to change those laws to better benefit the youth of our community has been just an amazing journey for the Phoenix Dream Center. It really has.
It has. So currently you sit on a couple boards in the state.
I do, yeah. I've been very fortunate the last 5 years to be on the Governor's Council for Human Trafficking. And so at that level, we look at every aspect of how our state serves women. Through that work, I also serve as the chair of the Policy Committee. And through the Policy Committee, we literally are changing laws. How can we better, provide services to these women through our laws and our legal structure? And then for the city of Phoenix, through the mayor's group, I serve as the chair of the Victim Services Committee for Human Trafficking through the mayor's group. And through that group, we're really working with all the local service providers to try to partner with each other, to try to co-serve these young women, try to do a gap analysis is like what's missing in our city for these young women. And so that group meets a couple times a month, as well as the governor's group. And so again, it's just for us in the faith community, it's just amazing to be able to get to serve people in a different way.
Well, it's great because you're the boots on the ground, you're doing the work, and now you're actually taking that experience that many of the people in the government offices would not have the opportunity to see, and you're applying that knowledge. So how wonderful. Thank you so much then for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be here, Pastor Brian, to share with our viewing audience. And the Phoenix Dream Center, which is the organization you're with now, we're going to talk a little more about that, but why don't we go ahead and take a look and see a video called What Is It? So maybe some of our viewers are unfamiliar, can figure out the wonderful and see just a little bit of the great work you're doing.
Great.
If we had to pick one thing to tell you what the Dream Center is, the Dream Center is a place where lives are changed, where the power of Jesus Christ is at work every day in the lives of the leadership, every day in the lives of the people who come through our many different programs. We're at work to rescue lives, rebuild lives, and to help people to realize dreams, that precious thing of realizing that there is a purpose, there is a plan for every life that comes through those doors down there. Our role is to help them to realize that purpose, to realize that dream, and ultimately it's a dream that we have for this city. It's a dream that we have for the broken, for the lost, for those that are needing that healing that only Jesus can provide. That's the Dream Center.
You know how to hold me close, say exactly what I need to hear. I believe every word, 'cause you know how to hold me close, say exactly what I need to hear. I believe every word. It's getting closer, believe it's
I was an emotional mess that didn't know how to deal with things without using a substance. And since I've been here and learned a lot about Jesus and what he can do, I have really just come to know a peace, and that is more than anything that I could ever want.
He's delivered me from the situation that I was going through, and he has definitely humbled me and knocked my pride level down.
They helped me rebuild my relationship with God and find out who he really is. This place is really amazing. The leadership here is tremendously a really anointed, God-given place.
He's got me back in PV classes. He's got me helping these guys. He's doing tons of stuff in my life. There's stuff that he's not doing.
God has been molding me into a new person, a more loving, patient person, which I have never been. You know, I have a really hard heart, but you know, he's softening it day by day.
He's brought me out of darkness, and he set me free from drugs, gangs, violence, and prison. Now he's just delivering me and molding me and shaping me into the person he wants me to be. He created me to be.
It's when I believe from
How awesome. There at the end of that video, you see all of these statistics and different things that the Phoenix Dream Center is doing to better our community on a day-to-day basis. Yeah. You're a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week operation, correct?
That's right, yep.
So if you wouldn't mind, Pastor Brian, walk us through a little bit of the foundation of this organization and how it started and some of the backstory.
Sure, yeah. Well, you know, it started as simply as a small group of people wanting to help people, wanting to help the homeless, wanting to know how do we get from the seats that are in our churches to the streets that need our help. That's how simple it was. And it started with Pastor Tommy. And he had a heart, he had a vision to start a small church or something inner city in Los Angeles. That was where his heart was. He had built an amazing following and an amazing church out here in Phoenix and was doing some great work out here. But his heart, God was just really leading him to do something in Los Angeles. So we ended up in Echo Park out there. And at the time, crime was through the roof. And like the only real government solution we had was to arrest people. Like that's all we could do was arrest people, and the only solution the business community could really do was bail out. Like, we got to get out of here, the crime is too high. And then all you had left was the people, and the people in that community, in that Echo Park area, just really were suffering under everything going on. So that was the heart, that was the location, that was the place. And the Dream Center was really born there, working with the gang, saying, you know what, how can we help you get different opportunities to get out of this life? How can we help the kids who are abandoned and orphaned out here? We were so proud to say that within 3 years of starting that Dream Center in LA, crime rates reduced by 70%.
Wow.
It was completely unheard of. If you go there today, there's business there, there's life there, there are people actually jogging in Echo Park, like it's not shut down anymore. It was amazing what government couldn't do and what business couldn't do, the church stepped in, and we could do that. We could do that through the Dream Center, and thus was really born the Dream Center model. It was a model that caught on fire and spread all over the world. Just with this one simple heart: find a need and fill it, find a hurt and heal it. We just kept it as simple as that. So in every community, in every city, in every nation, that motto sort of expressed itself differently. 267, you're right, Dream Centers around the world. We're so proud of that, and proud of the 30 that are in India, the 50 that are in Africa, and just the ones in Australia. I mean, it's just amazing to see what God is doing with this simple model, the Dream Center. But 10 years ago in Phoenix here, we didn't have a Dream Center yet. So here, Pastor Tommy and his own community, we had started one in LA, but we hadn't started one here yet in Phoenix. And so the heart in our church that began to grow, this sort of just this birthing of like, we got to do this in Phoenix. We got to do this in Phoenix. And Pastor always tells the story of his congregation coming to him saying they wanted to do it here, and he asked that question that every senior pastor asks, well, how are you going to pay for it? And they said, don't worry about it, Pastor. We're going to pay for it. And he said, liar, liar, pants on fire. But he was right. It was 2005 when that happened, and Katrina was happening. So our church took up a lot of offerings for Katrina. But by God's grace and by a miracle, $4.7 million were raised in just a 1-year period of time to completely pay for the Phoenix Dream Center and to get that thing started here in Phoenix. So that was our kickoff. That was our start. We had the money to start the building. We bought the old Embassy Suites Hotel down on Grand and just started to serve people. We really didn't know really where to start. We had done some work in LA, but we started to serve that first year just homeless men. We thought there's a lot of homeless men in our community, young men, older men. They need somewhere to go to get off drugs, to get out of the gangs. And so we started with just homeless men. We started pretty bare bones. It was just our church at first. We're proud today to say we have 180 churches in our network, but that help. But back then it was just the one church, and we say we were built on hot dogs and ketchup and Jesus help a brother up. Like that's all we had was we're going to just help these people. A year after starting, we added a homeless women's program just for adult women who were coming out of homelessness. 2 years after we opened in 2008, my wife and I, my wife Sky, we started to do this thing called ride-alongs with the Phoenix Police Department. And we knew we would see. It's scarier than heck, by the way. Like you should do it. It'd be good.
Yeah.
You should take a camera.
I actually have, and we haven't brought a camera, and it's eye-opening.
Yeah, everybody should do it once, I think. Maybe, I don't know. So we started to do these ride-alongs.
It's not for the faint of heart.
It is not for the faint of heart. We knew we'd see gangs. We knew we'd see drugs. We knew we'd see sort of all that stuff, but we did not know that week after week we would see young women, girls, 12, 13, 14 years old, who were out there. And after you talk to them, on the surface it looked like this thing called prostitution, but after you talk to them, you're like, they don't want to be here. Like, they're runaways. They're entrapped in this life.
They're afraid.
And, yeah, like the only option, similar to Echo Park, the only option really we had was to arrest them, take them to juvenile corrections, hope we can figure out who they are. And so, again, our motto, find a need, that was a need in our city. So we began to start taking these young women, these girls, into the Dream Center and helping them out. I'm so proud to say that that program has served over 400 young women in the last 7 years. It's just been an amazing program. It's one of our flagship programs, human trafficking program for girls. In 2012, we were on Governor's task force for foster care, and I'm a pretty simple guy. I'm a farm kid from Iowa at heart. Like, that's who I am. And I had never really thought about, like, so the kids in foster care who don't get adopted, like, what happens to them? Like, I guess I thought they just graduated high school and went to college and got a job. I didn't really think about it. But through that task force, we found that in our state, like, we actually, at that time, had a 50% fail rate for those kids within 1 year. So 600 to 1,000 kids turning 18 and just aging out of the system had to leave the shelter where they were. And within 1 year, half of them were in a drug rehab or on drugs, homeless or on the streets or couch surfing, or they were in a correction institute. They'd been arrested. And so, again, that was a need in our community. So we opened up a floor at the Phoenix Dream Center just for the age out foster care youth who really needed our help. So we helped them get through high school and transition back out into life. A couple years after that, in 2014, and we were kind of becoming a little more well-known in the city, and it was a good thing in one sense because we were getting a lot of support, but in another sense, it was just out of sheer desperation that people just flooded us with their brother who needs help, and my daughter needs help, and my son needs to get off drugs. And so even today, we average 100 people a week that just get dropped off at the Dream Center and are needing help, and all of our programs are full. As unfortunate as that is, the most unfortunate part is that 10 to 15% of them are children. These are single mothers, single dads that are on, had a work-related injury, and they got like little babies with them, and they're totally homeless. And so we're like, oh, we got to do something about that. Like, we have to do something about that. So 2014, we started our final transitional housing program, which is for families. So it's an emergency housing program for families, just to, like, rapid response, like, come on, get in here, get you off the streets, and we'll get you into some housing and try to help you out. Those first 10 years of serving the Valley have been amazing for us, but it's also been very humbling knowing that we have waiting lists in every program, and every building we have is completely full. And so we've begun to turn our attention to prevention and foster care prevention, human trafficking prevention. And so we really sense God leading us these next 10 years down a road of how do we stop people from falling in the river? How do we get upstream and help keep them out of this situation?
You don't want them to have to come to the point where they need to come to you. You want to stop it before they get there.
We know we need to have a role in that, and so we've started some foster care prevention programs. I'm so proud to say that in just the last 6 months, our foster care prevention program has kept 150 children out of the foster care system.
Wow.
That truly is progress. That's some amazing progress. And so our human trafficking program is geared toward young men and young women and helping them to understand not to get tricked into these situations. And so it's a little bit harder to quantify how many are being prevented from that, but that certainly is the goal, is to keep these kids safe and to keep them living the dream, and to keep them knowing that God has an eternal purpose for their life too.
Yes, absolutely. And part of that probably comes with parenting. And I think whenever God created the family unit, that it was intended to have a mother and a father, and that leadership and those principles and that guiding light. I know that myself, many of my principles, my family was imperfect, but it came from the dinner table and mom and dad talking and telling you and asking questions and things. A lot of these people don't have that opportunity. So you're kind of stepping in and taking in a way that fatherly or that guiding role, not maybe you in particular in some cases, but the organization. And this is all volunteers that are doing this, correct?
That's right. Yeah, we have roughly 400 volunteers a month that help us do everything that I just mentioned. It's absolutely amazing. Of those 400 volunteers, less than 20 are paid employees and paid staff. And a lot of them are paid through grants and different things. So
that is incredible.
Yeah, we're a lean, mean machine. Everything raised goes direct into program services and counseling and medical services and just caring for the kids that we have. And so not a lot of overhead. We're blessed to have volunteers who really care.
Well, speaking of those volunteers, I know that we actually have, you call it People on a Mission. And so let's go ahead and take a look at this video.
I started here several years ago as a volunteer. I came in the door just with a heart to serve, to mop, to clean, to do whatever I could do to help. And through that process, I found my mission, my personal mission fulfilled right here at the Phoenix Dream Center.
I'm on a mission here at the Phoenix Dream Center.
I'm on a mission here at the Phoenix Dream Center.
I am here on a mission at the Phoenix Dream Center.
I'm on a mission here at the Phoenix Dream Center.
I'm on a mission here at the Phoenix Dream Center.
I'm on a mission here at Phoenix Dream Center
to grow in my relationship with Jesus and to learn what it's like to do ministry full-time. And I'm also here to learn how to love others better through prayer and outreaches and just general volunteering needs.
My name is Pastor Brian. I work as the Executive Director for the Phoenix Dream Center. Join us. We're on a mission to build a place where people with broken lives go to put the pieces back together. We've been very successful in that mission over the years in our city, but we're in a place where we need more. We need more people, more resources to reach more of our city, to reach ever deeper. God has put a burden and our calling on our heart to reach even more people. And I hope I see you one day at the Dream Center. And when I see you, I'll say, how's your mission going? Are you succeeding? Are you fulfilled in your mission and your calling? And I know that your mission, your calling will be a part of what God has called us all to do here at the Dream Center. God bless you all. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you on campus one day.
People on a mission. That is absolutely what you guys are doing. That is great, Pastor Brian. And as a matter of fact, for our viewers watching, if people have had a heart, they've wanted to get involved, they don't know how to get involved, how to help our community, hands-on, you have tours down at the Dream Center that people, is that kind of where you send them at first?
Yeah, we do have tours. I started there as a volunteer. Everybody started there as a volunteer. And so every Tuesday at noon, it really is a life-changing tour. Like you come down, we keep it all 1 hour so you can kind of do it on your business lunch. We provide lunch for folks, and I don't want to spoil it for everyone, but it's a totally exciting tour. You hear stories, testimonies, life-changing like interactions with people that have been changed by the power of God in their life, and you get to see all that firsthand. You also get to talk directly to the directors of the programs to see kind of where God's leading your heart to volunteer, whether it's human trafficking, foster care, discipleship, or outreach, feeding the homeless. You get to talk to those people directly at the tour.
Wow, and so there's really no shortage of need and people in hands.
The more we have, the more we can do.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Well, if you have any questions, please make sure the website I know is phoenixdreamcenter.org. That's on your screen, so make sure to go ahead and visit that if you have any questions. And they have a lot of great videos and information and links to a bunch of things. So with that, in the last part of the program here, you touched briefly on the foster care prevention. Could you just go into a little more detail on that, Pastor Brian?
Yeah, the program is called Thrive, and it's a program of the Dream Centers. And again, our heart was, there are different estimates, but somewhere around 20,000 children in foster care in our state here.
Wow.
And some years we're adding to that exponentially, like 20%, 30%. And so the amount of children that are being placed in foster care, it doesn't match up with how many are going in. And so we have to do something. And by we, I mean the church. I really think this is an issue for the church. I think the answer is the church. And I think we can solve it. And one of the ways that we've chosen to solve it, because the Dream Center doesn't functionally like adopt children. So the way we're going at it is, before the children have to be removed from the home, there is an opportunity. Sometimes it's a very, very narrow opportunity, a very narrow window, but there's an opportunity for the church to become involved, to intercept that family. And so often the children are removed because of one clause called neglect. And neglect can be a range of things. It's not just leaving kids there by themselves home alone. It can be, we don't have a refrigerator, we don't have a bed for the kids, we don't have separate rooms for them, we don't have enough food for them at home, we're not packing a lunch to send them to school. most of the calls we get are as simple as that. It's taking them a bed, a refrigerator. Lisa Mattresses donated almost 300 beds to the Dream Center just for this cause. And so we are so fortunate in our state that our state wants to work with nonprofits. So they literally, caseworkers give us a call when they have a family, and they're like, okay, a week from now, if something doesn't change in this family's life, we're going to have to take the children away. And so often it's most of the time, it's a single struggling young mother who was a victim of domestic violence or something, and now all this is coming and having to take all this on and having to pay all of the rent and do all this stuff. Or sometimes it's a single dad who had a medical issue at work, but it's a single person that we come alongside, and we literally refurnish their entire apartment for them, refrigerator, food, and then provide counseling that walks alongside them, case management that walks alongside them. As I mentioned before, 150 kids kept out of the system. Compared to 20,000, it's a small drop, but we're believing we're starting something that's
kids' lives.
Absolutely, we're starting something that's going to take over everything we think in this city. You're right.
So
yeah.
that is so encouraging to hear that that's happening, and to know that there's an organization that's taking the time to help that prevention. Because again, as believers, I think that it is absolutely our call and our charge from Christ to take care of the widowed and the hungry and the poor and especially the children. So Pastor Brian, thank you so much for taking this time to be here to share with our viewing audience. If you wouldn't mind just maybe saying a quick prayer here for some of our viewers.
Yeah, I will. Father, in your precious name I pray, God, give us vision, Lord, for our city. Help us to see the things that maybe we even don't want to see that are going on in our city that need our sight on them, Lord, because when we see these things, we're going to get involved. We're going to help, Lord. I pray for all the hearts of our viewers, Lord, to hear very clearly, Lord, very quickly, Lord, that you are calling each of us, Lord, to get out of the seats and to get into the streets and to get into the homes of the people of our community who desperately need you, Father. And many of them aren't going to know you without us, Lord. So help us, equip us, Lord, move us, Lord, shake us, Lord, to do your will, to reach your city for your precious name and your glory. In your name, amen.
Amen. Thank you again, Pastor Brian. Thank you so much at home for watching. We love joining you every week. Make sure to visit the website and to find out more information. We look forward to seeing you here next week.
This program has been sponsored by the Trinity Broadcasting Network, Post Office Box A, Santa Ana, California, 92711.